dealing with the closed guard in no-gi. So the first thing we want to address is the concept of working inside someone's closed guard. If you think about this like a war or some kind of territorial game, this is where all of Andrew's offense is. And this is the thing that he's trying to attack. So my goal really, my first job, if I want to stay safe, is to keep his offense away from the thing that I'm trying to defend. He has two ways of closing this distance. The first one is he can bring his hips up to a high guard, and now he's close to all the stuff that he wants to attack. This is dangerous for me. The second way that he can do that is bring me down into an area where I'm close to the thing that he wants to attack me with. The first thing we'll address here then is posture. So by posture, where a lot of people get this wrong is they do the posture the way their mum told them always to do it. Put your shoulders back, arch your back, sit up straight. The problem with this is I have no strength through my front now. So Andrew just bringing his knees to his chest will break me. All my strength wants to be going through my front. So first things first, hips forward, engage your core. Now if Andrew brings his knees to his chest, it's much more difficult for him to move me. Second thing, foot position. If I'm sitting up here, then I'm quite straight. Some people advocate coming up onto your feet to pass guard because it gives you more mobility. But in the act of doing this, I've tipped myself forward. It's now easier for him to bring me forwards than it would be if I was sat flat and pushing my hips forward. So now I'm in a better position to stop him coming up here. The next thing, killing the lateral movement of my partner's hips. Knees in tight and try and pinch them as close to the hips as possible. This sometimes lifts the hips slightly off the floor as well, which has a nice effect. It kind of just unbalances your partner a little bit. It does feel a little bit more awkward now here to do this with me, right? Last thing is, in the gi, we would normally set up with one hand holding something on the chest. This prevents Andrew from being able to tip me forwards because I can use this to block that. And one hand gripping the gi pants on the hip. This allows me to pin the hip and essentially keep it away from all the danger zones. We don't have either of those advantages here because we have nothing to grab, and even if we do, we shouldn't really be grabbing it, so don't grab it. So we're going to look to set up on our feet, hips forward, pinching in the hips, and we're going to look to just take either a same side grip or a 2-on-1 grip and use this as a means of monitoring the hips if we need to, or if he starts pulling forward, we can use it to block up here. Let's give that a go first, yeah? Posture. Being in posture is one thing, but there is a constant game going on here where I'm trying to stay in posture, I'm trying to get these grips here, and Andrew will be trying to break me down. And of all the different ways that he can break me down, there's two that are quite common. The first one is he'll grip my head and use this to be able to pull me down and break my posture. The second common one will be, I've broken a rule here, and instead of keeping my hands on my partner all the time, I've put my hand on the mat. This might be as a result of him clearing it, it might be as a result of him breaking my posture and bringing me forwards, but sometimes your hands will go on the mat. And then he wraps your arm, and this is a problem. So, let's deal with these one at a time. Firstly, the head grip. So wherever this head grip goes, there will always be space on the inside for you to at least sneak your hand onto the shoulder. From this shoulder grip, we're going to flare the elbow slightly, and all I need to do is create enough space to bob and weave and duck my head in and out. One more time, he grabs the head. There's always a gap here. Come in, connect to the shoulder, flare to make a bit of space, and then take my head through that space. Second one, the arm wrap. So whilst we're here and my arm is bent here, it's very difficult for me to get my arm out because I'm trying to take an L-shaped shape through a straight hole. Even worse, if Andrew gets on his side and starts putting pressure down through the shoulder, now this pressure through my shoulder is also working to keep me down. So from here, we have to drive partner flat again. Now we still have to address the problem of the L-shaped arm. Pin your hand to the floor, and I'm going to drive to push my elbow up here. Once I've made this shape here, I can sneak out around the back and release my hand. Anyone want to see it again? All right. You get arm wrapped. If they're on their side and pressuring, you're going to have to put some effort in here and drive and put them back flat. We need to kill this L shape here because I can't come out this way. Pin your hand to the floor, drive your shoulder, your elbow comes up. Now this gives you space to sneak it out around the back, and that's going to kill your arm wrap. So let's do that now. Partner's going to grab your head, break that. Partner's going to grab an arm wrap. Oh, one more thing. Sometimes your partner will grab your head and wrap your arm. In this instance, you won't be able to clear the head with one arm. You'll need to first clear the arm. Now you can start working to clear the head. Yep. You get wrapped up with both arm first, then head. Let's give it a go. So we've looked at posture and the concept of closed guard no-gi, trying to keep our partner's offensive hips away from the bits that we're trying to protect, namely our arms, neck and shoulders. We've looked at how to fix things when things go wrong, your posture gets broken, your arms get wrapped, your head's being collapsed. So now let's look at actually passing, and we'll do a couple of different variations of pass. We'll do one from the knees, we'll do one from standing, but also know that they are interchangeable because you can do the one from the knee that I'm going to show from the knees from standing and vice versa. So we start with our same side grip. Depending on how confident you are in your grips, you can use one hand. I always use two because I have the wrist strength of a 5-year-old, so I would always want to make sure that I have two in on here. Now I'm using this again to keep my partner's hips pinned. This is also stopping me if Dean starts trying to bring me in. I can use it as a post on the chest as well. We keep the hips pinned. Because the arm that I have pinned, this now gives me the safety to bring this leg up. Once I'm up, I can come up here. Now, the same rules apply from posture that we were talking about. So I don't want to all of a sudden start putting my shoulders back, putting my hips back like this, because just as easily from here, Dean can bring his knees to his chest and break me down again. So as we come up, my hips are still thrusting forwards, and I'm pushing down on this arm, but I'm not leaning my weight over forwards like this. That's not what I'm trying to accomplish. I want to be up straight, hips forward, and I'm pushing down, but not leaning. We want to off-center Dean's guard slightly. He's still very straight. This is still quite a strong position for him. We can off-center this by bringing the knee in and pinching it onto the hip. This changes his guard position and his spine position, but crucially, it weakens this leg. Now I can start to push. I don't want to use tricep here. I need a straight arm. So there's a chance that if I can't get a straight arm in here, that I'm going to need to lean away. It allows me to get my straight arm, and now I can use my weight on my straight arm to push this down, get this down to the ground. From here, the pass is almost complete. It almost doesn't matter what pass you use here. You just want to keep as much inside as possible. So first thing, we want to pin this knee. And this will allow me to start bringing things inside. The threat here from Dean, or that I don't want him to do, is for him to shrimp his hips out and make space, and then he starts re-guarding. Couple of things we can do here. I can either hug the hip, or this sometimes is available, sometimes it's not. If I get my foot underneath here, his foot's off the ground now, he cannot now shrimp out, even if I give him full control of his hips. He can't, he's got nothing to push off on. So we're here, and again, depending on how you want to finish the pass, We can either go over under, start splitting. We can look for a big back step, or we could just windshield wiper, back the other way, control, finish the pass. The most important thing there is the break and winning the inside position. Let's give that one a go first. Let's go, 1, 2, 3. Right, so let's look at a pass from standing now. So most of what we're gonna do is the same, except sometimes when we go to pinching with the hip, pinching with the knee on the hip, either they can start just following around, especially if they're a bit lighter than you, or it just doesn't quite have the same desired effect. So we're gonna go to full standing, same thing. 2-on-1 grip here, if you can get it. One hand, same side is okay if you believe in your grip strength enough. I don't, so 2-on-1 grip here. Come up on the same side as I'm coming up on the grip. Turn this foot outwards and then push to stand. This is a very important detail because once this foot goes up, Dean is waiting for me to step my second foot, so, because as I do so, he's going to bring his knees to his chest, and as my knee comes up, as I go to step, he brings his knees to his chest and he breaks the whole thing down. So, first leg goes up. Flare out the foot and just push as if we're pushing up from a lunge. Come up. I want to step this leg back because I don't really want Dean to have the ability to grab it. Turn in, and now I'm going to reach back between my partner's legs. I want to get at least elbow deep. Anything else is going to be too shallow. You might have to turn away into it to get it. As we do, we lift the guard up and push my hips forward. The reason I prefer this, this can be done from the knees. The reason I prefer it from standing is because there's less chance of him dragging me down into a triangle. As we come back down, we're going to circle this hand inside the other leg and come down straight into a double unders pass. Secure the hips, pull them up onto your lap, and then we go crush knee to face and start moving around till we finish the pass.